Booker with a corner three. It's good. Trevor Booker's third three of the game.
These dead favorites, we are ready to tip off. Are you? Let's do this.
Happy Halloween. We'll go through the NBA 5 as LeBron duds on the biggest sporting event ever. The Jazz have a tough start to their season. We'll do a video breakdown or two, and we'll take your questions. It's all coming up on today's edition of Tip Off. Pow! Hello, welcome to Tip Off. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you as always. I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. Jazz are home on Saturday against Jeff Hornacek and Phoenix, Wednesday against LeBron and Cleveland, Friday against the great Dirk and Dallas. Tickets are available for all of those at utahjazz.com. I would strongly suggest coming out. All of those are going to be fabulous. The score is not great. You'll like the way we play, though. It's all heading in the right direction. Here's what we got scheduled for the program today. We'll talk about the NBA 5. We'll look at that. Latest on Alec Burks' extension, plus the Jazz play last night. We'll do a little video breakdown of some plays, discuss post-game locker room comments, and take your questions. So it's all coming up on today's edition. Remember the interaction line, 801-237-38, 801-237-38. Let's do the NBA 5.
This is Trevor Booker, and you're logged on Jazz.
Extension day today by midnight Eastern time, 10 o'clock our time. Kawhi Leonard will not get an extension in San Antonio. Klay Thompson, Tristan Thompson, and Ricky Rubio are all up for extensions. We'll see what comes across. Rubio had a really nice night last night from Minnesota. They've got to get him done, but it'll be interesting to see what it takes to get that done. Russell Westbrook injured last night, somewhere between 3, 4, 6 weeks. It's hard to tell what it's going to be. Oklahoma City had these years of incredible health that are finally running out on them. Kevin Pelton wrote about it this morning. His Shoney projection forecast is Oklahoma City's lineup without Westbrook and without Durant as the 29th offensive lineup in the NBA, ahead of only the D-League Philadelphia 76ers. If the Thunder are going to survive, they'll have to do it defensively, but even that, I think, might be too much to ask. And remember, they play a very easy schedule early in the year. Any of those losses to bad teams are almost impossible for them to make up. If they go, their loss last night, losing to the Clippers in LA, no big deal. They're not supposed to win that anyway. You make that up when you're healthy and you go to LA. If you get one, then you came out how you want to, and if you can beat them twice at home, you really, frankly, if you split with the Clippers, you're on your way to your wins. But you go to Detroit and lose, or you lose at home to Detroit, or you play the Jazz twice and lose any games in your Oklahoma City, you can't get those back. Those are almost impossible to get back. This is going to cost them home court advantage, and if New Orleans or Phoenix clicks in, who knows what it's going to do to them. And then you get into some so that gets funky. This has got long-term ramifications on Oklahoma City. It's bad breaks for them. Bad fractures for them, really. Cleveland loses against New York. LeBron called it probably one of the biggest sporting events that is up there ever. Really? LeBron? Come on. Okay, it's probably big for Cleveland. Maybe that's how the question. Maybe it was about, like, for Cleveland, it's probably the biggest event ever. And I guess but it seems a bit much to go with that as the biggest event that existed ever in sports. Interesting little feud. Boy, could there be a more boring matchup than Denver versus Detroit that we're all going to want to watch next time? So after the game the other day, Kenneth Faried said after the game, well, we just let Josh Smith keep shooting. He ended up with 25, but he still kept shooting. He shot them out of the game. It's probably accurate. Fareed, probably, by the way, little ego thought here, probably trying to explain why Josh Smith got 25, right? Like, he probably was like, okay, I want everyone to understand, we just let him keep shooting. Josh Smith goes, I don't respond to nobody with dreadlocks who plays basketball. He's a clown. Quote me on that. Could you imagine? Never mind. I'm not going where if somebody else made that comment, but that's a ridiculous comment. Then Smith says, he fears me. He's scared of me. So, of course, he'll talk about me in the paper. He won't do it to me in my face. If you have to hide behind a microphone or a smartphone, so be it. I don't mind. Okay, there's a bunch of things here. One, just all ridiculous, but totally awesome. And that's got to be the first reference ever of hiding behind a smartphone, which reporters use as microphones now, right? Like to hide behind a microphone. He actually modernized it if you hide behind a microphone or a smartphone, because now reporters sit there all the time and go like this with their smartphones. So now we're hiding behind microphones and smartphones. It's like hiding behind Twitter and everything else. It has to be like the it has to be the first reference of that. Kind of awesome. Another one I love about the NBA is when rookie meets stud. And, you know, we all love our rookies and we're all excited for them. And then rookie meets stud and it gets ugly. Carmelo did it to Gordon Hayward in Denver where Gordon had 3 fouls in like a span of 5 seconds. John Wall went up against Elfrid Payton last night. 30-2. John Wall had 30 points, 12 assists. Payton got 2 shots off the entire game. He had 7 assists and 6 turnovers and scored 2 points. Welcome to the league, Rook. Wow. Perry Jones, by the way, had a huge night last night for Oklahoma City as they slipped to 0-2 in their 93-90 loss to the Clippers. That's a tough start, though, at Portland, at L.A. Perry went over 30, rang the 30-point bell last night. And the other ball game last night, Minnesota beat Detroit, was actually up 10 or more in that game. Minnesota, a lot of people think you're going to be terrible. I'm not so sure on that. I looked at the way Flip Saunders has that roster, particularly if you look at us in the West trying to figure out where we're finishing, and I think most of us thought we could catch Minnesota. It's pretty interesting, actually. So they're starting Pekovic with Thaddeus Young at a 4, Andrew Wiggins as a small forward, Corey Brewer and Ricky Rubio. I mean, they're starting 4 guys who've started in the NBA, are pretty legitimate NBA starters, and the number 1 pick of the draft. Their bench is Gorgie Dang, who's pretty good third big. Kevin Martin is coming off the bench as a scorer, 6-man, pretty good. Mo Williams is their backup point guard. It's pretty solid. Anthony Bennett and Shabazz Muhammad become their 9th and 10th guys off the bench. I don't like Shabazz Muhammad, and I'm not sure on Anthony Bennett yet, but fine, that's your 10th guy. I mean, if you just match it up on us, Pekovic, you decide Pekovic or Favors. If we're trading, who takes whom? Cantor or Young, Hayward or Wiggins, Burks or Brewer, might be the same player. Hopefully Burks is better than Brewer. Brewer really can run in a different way. Rubio or Trey Burke, Gorgie Dang or Trevor Booker, Kevin Martin or Rodney Hood, Mo Williams or Dante Exum, just as they are right now. I'm not asking Joe Ingles or Shabazz Muhammad or Anthony Bennett. That is the NBA 5.
Hi, Jazz Nation. This is Trey Burke. Thanks for being the best fans in the NBA.
Thank you, Trey. Let's talk to Alec Burks extension. Probably should have done that. Everything I'm hearing is good. You have 2, as I've reported here, really for what now? Did I complain yesterday about the Ennis Canner thing? I think I did. I think I baby complained yesterday already. I think I bitter baby complained already. You got 2 willing parties on both ends. Pretty optimistic we're going to get good news. It sounds, all indications right now, as we sit here at 9:10 a.m., 13 hours before the deadline, 12 hours and 50 minutes, are of optimism that there will be an extension completed between the Utah Jazz and the Alec Burks' group. So that's good. It's really good. Hopefully we get good news today. That'll be very exciting to have Alec, and Alec this year has been such a good, willing player to try to take his game. And I probably haven't mentioned this enough. I've talked a lot about this kind of gelling Alec, moving Alec toward Quinn's system and trying to run it, and how the coaches are trying to give him more leeway. And I've phrased it that way. I probably should have taken a step. Alec, while not always doing exactly what they want, has been incredibly willing and interested in trying to do it correctly and making the effort to do it correctly. So it's, you've got willing parties on the negotiating table. You actually have really willing parties on the court. One saying, okay, Alec, we get what you do and you do it well. And then Alec, but we do need you to do it this way. And Alec saying, okay. And it seems to be a really good marriage in there that's happening. So hopefully it seems as though we'll get a deal done and have Alec signed up, and then you've got 3 of your pieces. We see what happens with Ennis over development, and then watch Rudy, Trey develop, Dante and Rodney develop, and these pieces begin to come together. It's a long road, people. This was not happening overnight. It's still going to take some effort and take some time. Dirk Nowitzki's awesome. I love greatness. Watching him last night, I mean, they guarded him well in the post on plays, and he just made plays. He's just awesome. Totally fabulously awesome. If you've never seen Dirk, it's different in person. You can understand a little bit better in person how kind of off-footed he is and awkward and different, and the arch of the shot and the absurdity of what he's doing is just great. And I actually, I went back and watched the first quarter, and some of what he does is he's just that good. Dallas was that good last night. Dallas was more great than we were bad last night. And I actually think I'll show that to you a little bit. They are just a bunch of guys who, 1, know how to play, 2, understand what you're trying to do and where they can exploit you, and are patient enough for 24 seconds to get it. But with Dirk, every time we guarded it one way, he did the perfect other thing, and then Jameer Nelson's been around long enough, even though they haven't played together a lot. Devin Harris has played with him a lot, to get him the ball, Monte to get him the ball where they wanted to. They just were terrific in how they did things last night. That offense could be incredible this year. Jameer Nelson doesn't shoot it really quite well enough. Devin doesn't shoot it quite well enough, but you know what? They have an ability to drive this year. They didn't have last year with Jose Calderon that could make them pretty tough. I was obviously they were rolling. It was a great atmosphere. It was really popping before the game. With of all things, the return of JJ Barea. He's got some special part in Mavericks fans. But with him and Tyson Chandler, probably 2 of their non-Dirk favorite players. And I said this numerous times to the postcast last night. There's a real energy to Dirk in that building. Maybe it's because he took less money, or I don't know what it is, but it reminds me a little bit of when we were watching the end of Stockton Malone, and there were no signs of the end because they were still so good, but you just knew it had to come to an end at some point, and you just cherished every moment a little bit more, and it feels that way in Dallas about that. Defensively, we're not good right now. There's no question. But let's remember the Jazz are opening the season with Houston, 4th best offense last year, who I think Ariza over Parsons makes them better offensively. I'm not, point guard, I'm not sure what they do, but, still, Papa Nicolau is a nice addition. Dallas is definitely better offensively. They are the 3rd best offensive team in the league. Phoenix is the 7th best offensive team in the league. Not sure. I think they are better, but they're still pretty good. Then we've got the Clippers, who were the number 1 offense in the NBA last year. And then we got Cleveland, who's basically Miami, was number 2 offense, and then we got Dallas again, who was number 3. So this is an awfully difficult stretch of insane offenses. It's probably too much to judge the Jazz defensively. What they did last night is they just kept pushing the Jazz in every possession until the Jazz had a moment in which they broke down, and they did it beautifully. I'll show it to you here in a second on a video thing. I think Derek's been very, very good, by the way, so far. And you think about the fact he's done against Dwight Howard and Tyson Chandler, and I think that's pretty encouraging. I think that the starting unit has actually played pretty well offensively while it's on the floor. Remember that game? They're getting smoked last night defensively. They're still in that game for a portion of it because they're scoring as well. So there are some real positives taking place on some of those things. All right, let's see if I can pull up a few of these plays. If you go to Empty the Noggin last night, I broke them all down for you and have them, and this will probably because I'm trying to do it a little bit in a different fashion. The only problem is I don't have a pause button.
Chandler over Cantor rebounds for Dallas.
And I don't have a volume.
Dallas want to be a better home team this year. 26-15 was their record.
Thank you, Mark
last year.
Follow.
And that will help you be a better home team. The flush on the alley-oop to Chandler.
I'm going to stop that. The only way this works is if I can get a pause button, and sometimes the video screen on the NBA site that I use does not give me a video screen, but I will quickly try to share this with you. Well, I hope. Oh, good. That worked better. Wait a sec. All sorts of things aren't working.
Chandler over Cantor rebounds for Dallas. Dallas want to be a better home team this year.
Yes, I know, Mark.
15 was their record here last year. And that will help you be a better home team. The flush.
All right. Well, I can kill Mark, but it's not letting me. Let's see if I can get to this clip. There we go. We'll get it over here. This will be better. All right. And I will screen share. It's going to be a little small for you guys, I think, but I will be able to at least control it. All right. Here we are. So let's see if we play the clip. Is it too small to see? That will be the question. Somebody can tell me in the chat room if you can see. I got it. It's small. I know that. But it's the best I can do. Otherwise, I don't get a pause button. So tell me in the chat room whether you think it's too small, but we will. So here, Jameer Nelson comes up, and if you'll watch what happens here, the Jazz defense, and this is an example of where the Jazz are right thing, have not done it enough to necessarily know how to do it correctly, and that's what's making it difficult. Now, it's their early break, and if you watch what's going on the floor here, Parsons is to the left, and I know a lot of you are on audio, so I'm trying to make it. Jameer Nelson brings up the left side. Dirk's going to be there to set a drag screen on him, and Trey Burke is going to jump to the outside right shoulder of Jameer Nelson because the play is the Jazz want to play it to push him to the sideline. They want to keep him on the left side of the floor. Derek Favors then would come down, dropping the big to help with that penetration. The problem is if Dirk pops, you're in a lot of trouble. And so here it is. He jumps out to that side, and they cover it pretty well. 11-year veteran Jameer Nelson just retreats out a step, starts the play over again with everybody better set, and Trey is going to jump back out again to the left side here, but he's going to take one step too far, and Nelson just breaks the basket. There it is. Justin, can you kill your mic? For me, because you're and watch it again. Here it is, and you'll see the first is the veteran move. Okay, there it is. Now I know how they're guarding it, and then Trey overplays it with that little crossover. Cantor's got to come over, slam dunk. That's not on Ennis. That's not Ennis's fault, any way, shape, or form. That's just, frankly, perfect basketball. Okay. Let's see if this is. See if I can share this one with you. This is a Dirk 3. We've all seen this a million times. And
18 points.
His confidence is soaring. Mark had a great preseason.
They're talking about Alec, by the way. All right, so let's play the clip. Let's see if I got the right one. This is just them being great. I mean, this is.
Points.
So this is going to be a Dirk 3. Monte Ellis pick and roll with Dirk. Cantor's now got the assignment on Dirk. The way the Jazz generally play this, I was not shoot around yesterday because I didn't have one, is that Alec is supposed to force Monte to the sideline, and Ennis is going to slide back to cut off any penetration. And here it is. So Alec plays it well. He gets up on top, forces Monte down. Here's Ennis in perfect position. Everybody's doing this exactly as they should. Monte drives Ennis. It's done his job. Everything's right. Flips it back over his shoulder. You're dead. You're dead. Dirk Nowitzki's wide open for 3. You're dead. That's just them being great. That's Monte taking it one extra dribble. That's what Trey and Dante and Gordon and Alec have to learn. That's them taking it one extra dribble and making it so that that you have to take that extra step back is what made the difference there. That made it so that he wasn't ready to make that play, and that's the difference between a good team and a veteran great team. All right, watch this one. This one's awesome. This is another one. They were just on fire early. This is going to be a Tyson Chandler slam dunk, but it's a weak side pull that, if I remember correctly, is going to push the Jazz 4 plays in. So here's Ellis on the pick. Trey fights through it well. Okay, first thing's done well. Parson comes off on a curl. Hayward, again, now Ennis, in theory, could pop out a little bit and try to help, but he just got beat the play before on a 3 by Dirk. This is not the exact play I thought it was going to be. This is a different one. But so Parsons comes around on a curl here. Hayward's trying to stay with him. We could argue maybe that if we back it up, that Gordon could have done a better job there. But this is a hard play. I mean, Dirk comes down and sets a down screen right here, and that step up is where Chandler Parsons gets his edge. He gets the ball at the right point. And now, with the floor spaced pretty well, Derek has to step over and cut off Parsons. Alec really needs to slide in here, but what happened the night before? The night before, we got hit on 7 of 8 on corner threes, right? So Alec's worrying about this corner 3 over here. And what happens? Slow motion. Oh, it buffers if I do slow motion. Slow motion. Here comes Chandler Parsons. Alley-oop to Tyson Chandler. Alex late getting over. Guy would have been left open for a corner 3. You know, they got 5 guys who can score on the floor. We've got to learn how to defend that better. That's undeniable. But that's pretty good too, right? I mean, they're really good. And I think you have to, at some point, kind of just give them their props on how good they are. All right, let's see. Here's another Tyson Chandler alley-oop. Give me a second.
Points. Tyson collects the rebound. Firing on all cylinders.
All right, we'll play this clip for you. And here we go.
Points. Tyson.
So Jameer comes up far side. Oh, this is just an awesome play, actually. This is just, never mind, this is not the one. This is actually just, the other guys are great. Like, this is, here's Chandler rolling. Watch this one. This is to them. Derek Favors takes one step right here to the left. See where Chandler is right now? I know he has no legs on your screen. This is so good. This is guys who just understand each other. And the fact that Jameer Nelson and Tyson Chandler just made this play, having never played together, is ridiculous. Tyson Chandler runs toward Trey Burke like he's going to set the same pick and roll he's set 3 times already in this game. Okay? He's at full steam. Derek Favors takes one step to his left. With that one step, Chandler goes to the basket. Rodney Hood probably didn't run back to where he needed to be. Gordon wasn't quite there, and it's a slam dunk. The margin of error on that play is so little, but the key to this whole play is watch Tyson Chandler right here. Boom! And that one step, Derek Favors is gone. Man, that is just good basketball. That is such good basketball. All right, last one. This is a finger roll by Wright.
Down to 3.
Saw Minu linger there on the ball.
I wish I could do it bigger for you. I'm hoping that's big enough. For those of you watching on your phone, it's probably really, really small. All right. I think this is the play I'm looking for. I'm kind of guessing. All right, pick and roll. Left side, Devin Harris with Dirk. Favors is now on, Booker's now on Dirk. Brandon Wright's in the game up here, so Favors just covering the middle of the line. Don't worry about him. And Harris Gives it to the elbow to right. They set it back up. Now they're going to run a high pick and roll. Jazz force it to the side well. Favors comes over. And this is, look at, it's all defended well. Everyone's done a nice job here. Monte drives Derek deep enough in the paint. Now Brandon Wright comes down. Chandler Parsons is up top left, so Booker is at the nail. And maybe you should try to bump Brandon Wright, but you get nervous that pass is there. Devin Harris is over here. Trey's in a nice spot trying to protect for that because Devin Harris is in the corner. He's got to be ready to go back if Monte takes the dribble to the left. Everyone's doing kind of what they're supposed to do. Scoop pass right, lays it up. Trey definitely ducked out of the way in the restricted area to not get a foul, and that little girl's happy. It's just good basketball, right? I mean, it's just good basketball. There's one other I wanted to show you. I wrote it up on Locked On Jazz, and I would probably see if I could find it for you. But, yeah, we got to get better, and I think the biggest issue is we're not putting up any resistance. And they're getting into their stuff, and they're good. I mean, they were really good last night. And you know, maybe that's where there's a problem, is that you're not getting into enough of your stuff. All right. Let's see. So Gobert, Jefferson right corner, Booker's watching Dirk. This is a right. I'm looking for a right lay-in late in the quarter. See if I can find it for you. As they had 9. All right, I think, and this is a sign, Dallas, of why you begin to think Dallas could be really, really good. For those of you on audio, I know this is clippy. Hopefully it's all right. You kind of deal with it. We'll take questions here in a second. As I flip through this, I got to.
When that was going to happen in this contest.
So J.J. Barea just came in the game. The crowd went crazy.
He said after shoot around, he's back where he spent the.
All right, so I just noticed I have a bunch of messages in the chat room. I hope none of them are saying like you can't see or something like that. All right, let's do the last one here. This is totally just fabulously awesome. So Barea checks into the game. They're going to run a play, and we're going to defend it perfectly, and then it's 6 seconds left in the shot clock. They're still spaced perfectly. So Exum with Barea, elbow to Nowitzki, back cut by Jefferson, covered well, back up to Barea, pick and roll, we get around it, back to Dirk. Hayward now switches over to Dirk, who was originally dealing with Jefferson. The rotation on this is perfect. All the guys' feet are in the paint. Everybody's matched up. Nice play. We switch back to Booker, so everyone's got their man. They fling it to Hood. Hayward has to rotate all the way up top to Harris. He's there on a ball fake. Look at this. This is great defense by the Jazz. There's 8 seconds on the shot clock. They've played it fabulously. These guys are so good they don't panic. He backs up with 6 on the clock to recreate space. Brandon Wright comes, and Rudy Gobert probably, unless we've changed what we're doing defensively, overplays this. But with 5 on the clock, you're thinking, you might be able to handle this. So Rudy goes one step out too far with 5 on the clock. The Jazz make their first mistake 19 seconds in the clock. Wright rolls for a layup. Just watch it all the way through. It's such good work by the Jazz, but then, one step better by the Dallas Mavericks. And that's, against the Detroit Pistons or the Indiana Pacers or not very good offensive teams, this is good enough defense. At the elbow, Booker. Back cut off by Hayward. Pick and roll, Dante gets through. Hayward with a fabulous rotation back to Booker. They reset. Gordon goes to the right guy, closes on Harris. Harris up. There's the mistake. And Booker's the guy at the middle on the nail. And if you watch the key to this whole thing, this is where Dallas is so good, is when Rudy, and maybe we're supposed to trap, but I think Rudy overplays. They have Barea in the left corner. Dante's worrying about him. Probably could be a step back over just with 5 on the shot clock, but he's close, and that's experience. Alec is taking care of Richard Jefferson now in the right corner, or that's Rodney Hood, I can't tell. And Trevor Booker is at the nail, really where he's supposed to be, but he's got Dirk up top. And there's the roll, and there's just a little gap, and they get it. Sure, probably should close that gap a little bit, I guess. All right, now I can nervously go to the chat room and see if there's anything. Oh, everybody's just very, very excited that Justin Sweeney showed up, is what it is. Former Jazz intern, lives in Portland, who is now. All right, let me quickly go to questions and answers. I got someone coming to the house in 10 minutes for the snowblower. I hope it turns out that what I need is correct. Andrew Bailey asked a question. Is this Andrew Bailey? I'm trying to check something. Is this Andrew? Isn't there a Bleacher Reporter? I try to know who everybody's. Oh, that's Andy Bailey. Maybe it's the same guy. After getting a first-hand look at the Mavericks, do you think they might be closer to contention than the Clippers? No, solely because I'm going superstar factor, that Blake and Chris Paul are better than where they are. But I was impressed. I hate to say this. We've got to be a little careful of how impressed we get when against guys against us, right? We might not be very good. So if guys look good against us, they should. What happens to that offense that looked so perfect last night when some guys are bumping them, when they're not getting to their spots, when DeAndre Jordan's just a step quicker and knows how to guard that because he's seen it a lot of times. There's a level of. Last night was the second oldest team in the league playing the third youngest team in the league, and I think that's what I just showed you on video. They're pretty good. They were good. They were really good. All right, that wraps up tip-off. I hope everyone has a great day. I'm glad to see we're all friends and everybody's happy and still in a good mood after two tough openers. But I think, we got a few of those coming down. I mean, it's just, I hate to say it, but I mean, Tyson Chandler or Derek Favors right now, tomorrow. Who do you want? Enes Kanter or Dirk Nowitzki? Who do you want tomorrow, right now? Gordon Hayward, Chandler Parsons. I'll take Gordon. Alec Burks, Monte Ellis, right now. Who do you want? Jameer Nelson, Trey Burke. Okay, that's what happens. On the road, home opener, their building, talent gap. Don't freak. We got time. See ya.